This is Peloton on the monthly chart. It was once a pandemic darling. It's now a post-pandemic bust. Before we start the analysis, let's look at this article. It is coming from CNN Business. Peloton stock plunges after 20,000 members cancel subscriptions while waiting for recall. Peloton recall involving the adjustable seat on more than 2 million bikes is becoming a bigger headache than expected. Shares of the fitness company plummeted 20% in early trading Wednesday after another dismal earnings report that revealed the recall's price tag subsequently exceeded Peloton's expectations, costing the company $40 million and about 20,000 members who paused their monthly subscription because they were waiting for a replacement seat post. Peloton said its fourth quarter results are a reminder we operate a seasonal business as it braced investors for a bigger than expected loss of $242 million and sales dropping to $642 million, down from $679 million a year ago. Now, CEO Barry McCarthy, he joined the once hot company back in 2022 and has made a number of changes to restore its early pandemic success, implementing layoffs and store closures while giving the Peloton app a brand refresh and new price tiers. However, shares are down 30% year to date. Let's look at this video before we get into the chart analysis.
Now the company is laying off more workers and jacking up prices on some of their bikes and treadmills. And even as people return to gyms, SoulCycle is shuttering 25% of its locations and laying off workers. So the question is, has the boutique fitness boom finally gone bust? Here to discuss all of this is CNN's Allison Murrow. So Allison, what do you think is going wrong with the boutique fitness industry right now?
Yeah, it's been a really brutal couple of years for boutique fitness, but I think it's been a brutal year for all small businesses, and all gyms were basically forced to shut down in 2020. But the bigger chains like Planet Fitness and Equinox, those kinds of companies were able to weather the storm a little bit easier than boutique firms like Peloton and SoulCycle that were smaller operations. But Peloton had a real edge going into the pandemic. It was already doing home fitness before home fitness became kind of the only thing that was on the table for anyone who wanted to get a workout in. So it was a real big year for Peloton, and now it's hitting the wall partly because it just overextended itself. It spent hundreds of millions of dollars at the peak of its power when everyone was trying to get their hands on a bike. But because of supply chain issues and a whole host of other things, the bikes were delayed. So now Peloton finds itself after a series of missteps kind of going, whoops, we've overextended ourselves and we have to claw back. That's why it's raising prices. And SoulCycle was hit with a very different problem. It was already kind of waning in popularity before the pandemic, and then in-studio classes became impossible. So it had to kind of try to adapt to this new world. And we're finding that it's not going out of business. It's just, as in its words, right sizing in certain markets because it overbuilt.
This is Peloton on the weekly chart, and price has been fighting this weekly sellers level at 950. Buyers just couldn't get the price to close above the level. Came into the zone several times, once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. But from this massive move down on the monthly chart, and after a year of basing, prices are now taking the next leg down. After price was range bound for the last couple of months. Now, the $5.35, that is all-time lows. And the only thing that can save Peloton at this point is some other big company buying them out. This is the daily chart, and you can see how it was range bound, but you can see how the weekly sellers level at 950 served as a major barrier. You could also see the 200-day moving average just butting up against the upper portion of this zone. It's also serving as resistance. Just hasn't been a good time for Peloton bag holders. So on the news this morning on earnings, price gap down, continue to move lower. However, it may have sound some bias short term. However, I think price is going lower. I think eventually this $5 barrier is going to break, and we're going to see price start closing below $5 level. Where's the bottom? I don't know, but it is lower. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, please. Like the video.